grief doesn't just go away, it changes. And so do we. I've lost people close to me. I lost my dad a couple years ago, Uncle Richard last year. This past April, we lost Uncle John, and 3 friends during COVID, Dennis, Joe, and Tony. And if that wasn't bad, my friend Will got in a car accident later after COVID. So it's crazy how I'm just learning what it means to live without them. All right, let's get into this. We're going to go through the initial impact. We're going to go through the weight of the absence of missing a person, what we don't talk about oftentimes, what grief has taught me. We'll have a message for those who are grieving now, so please stay towards the end of the show, and then we'll also have a closing message as well. So thank you so much for listening. This is the Raise Flays Radio Show. Let's get into the initial impact when a person first dies. The shock, the numbness, the disbelief. It's crazy. You know, when my dad died, he was alive. He was alive and well. He went for a surgery to help his heart. He was having heart trouble. He needed a valve replacement. So for those of you that don't know what happens when you have a valve replacement, is they take your valve out during the operation and they replace it with generally an animal, like a cow heart valve, and then they put it in place during that surgery, and it has to fit perfectly. The best surgeon in this area were working on him, and they fit it perfectly. It fit fine. Everything went well. He came out of surgery fine. He was smiling and everything like that. The surgeon was super happy. He felt like it was a success. But the problem is my dad was very fidgety. He moved around, didn't want to be in the bed, blah, blah, blah. And during the night, during some of that movement, some of those moves, the valve popped out. And when I say popped out, I'm probably wording it wrong because it actually popped in, even worse. It went inside the heart chambers and was floating around. I know this is gross. It's floating around his heart. So what happens is, as it's floating around, it's blocking things, and it's the worst way to die because you're basically stroking out. So they're reading the monitors from his brain and from his body, and basically he's having multiple strokes, and he's just deteriorating, and there's nothing he can do. He's 79 at this time, and no surgeon's going to go in and open his chest up for open heart surgery. As a matter of fact, the valve surgery is very unevasive, and it was very simple surgery, but unfortunately it popped out, so nobody wants to open him up. And so basically there's nothing that no one wants to do, will do, and can do without hurting him even more than he already is in bad shape. And so we have to basically watch him deteriorate, and eventually they do the hospice thing. They bring him home. They bring him with a bed and home, and we just watch him. And eventually, like I don't know if it was the same night that they brought him home or the very next night, he finally takes his last breath, passes away. And so it's crazy when that happens. You who have lost somebody know what I'm talking about. It feels like I'm starting to feel that memory, that feeling that I felt. It's like this frozen in time moment. It's like the world begins to move and goes But for me, and for probably a lot of you, time seems to pause. The world keeps going, but time seems to pause. And for me, it was weird. It was like there was nobody. I felt like a rebellious child. I had these thoughts of like a rebellious child because nobody was watching me now. I had my dad, my anchor, to watch me, to teach me things. And and I already had a family at that time. It was only a couple of years ago. I had 3 kids. I had a wife. I have a home. But still, there's always this thing with your parents. It's like you rely on them, even though you don't financially rely on them. You don't live with them anymore, but for some reason there's this like they're your life jacket. That's the kind of feeling I always have with my parents. They're when they're okay, I'm okay. Life is okay. When my family's okay, I'm okay. But when something happens like that, it's just so weird. It's like you're out there on the ocean alone, and now you got to figure it out on your own. And so that's where we get into the next part of this conversation, and that is the weight of their absence. Some people I've talked to who've lost loved ones, they say it's the little things they miss. Of course, you see a little jewel that they, maybe a watch that your grandpa wore, maybe a pipe that my grandpa used to smoke. I'd see it on the shelf and start to miss my grandfather. I see somebody making homemade tortillas. I think about my grandma Delia. I see somebody making tamales. I think about my grandma Cruz. Little things will trigger your memory. But for me, it's the big things, because now I have a huge responsibility, right? I have my home that I watch. I have my dad's home now, my mom's home where my mom lives. It's a huge responsibility. He used to fix everything around here, and it was not a problem for him because he was in construction for 25 years. He could fix anything. I, not so much a handyman at all. I do have the engineering type brain, but not the hands to do it the way he used to do it. And so now I got to rely on YouTube and just try to figure it out like everybody else on YouTube. But it's like, it's weird because even if I do figure it out, or like if I'm in the middle of trying to figure it out, I'm like looking over my shoulder, hoping there's somebody that can check on my work or check, am I doing this right? There's nobody I can turn to anymore to say, am I doing this right? There's nobody that's going to help me figure it out. So I just kind of have to figure it out on my own and hope for the best. And so that's how grief kind of sneaks in during everyday life. Whether I'm looking at a tool, I see a tool, I think about him. I just busted out his old skill saw the other day, and I was using that and trying to figure that out. And so those little things, the little things, but also the big things that he used to help me with in everyday life were things that trigger. It's not just the big days, it's the moments trying to fix the water heater, trying to rebuild the things he built that are now falling apart. Those are the things that I deal with almost every day now. It's crazy. Here are some of the things that we don't talk about. Feeling like you need to be okay quickly. There is no timeline, ladies and gentlemen. If anybody said you have 5 days to grieve, no. If anybody said you had 2 days to grieve, no. If anybody said you only have a year, no. It could be as long as you want. You got to live your life. Yes. The thing about it is crazy. If you have kids, you have responsibilities, you definitely have to, at least I had to. I couldn't be just completely down in the dumps. I still had to focus. I still had to work. I still had to pay my bills. I had kids depending on me. I had a wife depending on me. And now I had a mom depending on me. So I still had to keep my wits about me. But certainly you do. Thankfully, your job, your friends, if they're really your friends, they're going to give you time. They're not going to be trying to rush you through this process. It's a process, by the way. It takes time to grieve, and everybody grieves different. There is no pressure to move on. Do not feel the pressure to move on. Take your time with it. Allow yourself to grieve. And if you really can't get over, if you're really struggling, make sure you get some help. We'll put some links in the description for you for that. Definitely get some help if you need that. Yeah, it's crazy. You will, sometimes you'll feel the pressure to be okay right away, but you don't need to worry about that. How people disappear when grief shows up. This is for me. This is my guilt. I hated funerals. I used to hate, I don't know, you just don't know what to say, right? Like, you don't know what to say to the person. You don't know how to dress. Like, there's sometimes 2 days, sometimes it's like a rosary, and then the next day it's like the church with the burial. Sometimes it's 1 day like we did with the dad, and we didn't know how the process worked. Nobody knew how it was going to work. Sometimes it's just an urn right there and a celebration of life. Everybody does it different, so you don't know what to say. I always hated funerals, and it was number one because of course you're pissed, kind of. That's how I react, like upset that you lost somebody, that someone's dead, that somebody passed away that you love. That's number one, so you're kind of dealing with that. But then also, what do you say? And it used to be, okay, you could say, well, sorry for your loss. Maybe that was the general response. Sorry for your loss. A little huggy, a little kissy. Sorry for your loss. But nowadays, they're like, no, you can't say that. You can't say that. It's not really a loss. It's a celebration now. Cool. Great. Be positive and all that. Good. But there is no like wrong thing to say. You could say, I'm going to give you permission. Tell him Ray said it's okay for you to say sorry for your loss. It is a lot. They lost something. They lost a person. They lost a life. They lost somebody that they spent time with their whole life, and now they're gone. But really what I learned when I asked somebody about this, I was like, dude, what do I say? Like, I don't want to say sorry for a loss. It's too simple. It's too general. Somebody told me a while back, like, you don't need to know what to say. You actually just need to be present. So there's something to that. If you just show up, I didn't understand that until my dad passed away. Because when people came, and lots of people came, and they said their condolences, and they came, I don't remember a word they said. You're in such a fog. You don't remember what their words are. You're just like, dude, you're thinking in your mind like, dude, I can't believe he showed up. That's freaking so cool. Dang, I can't believe she came. Dang, I haven't seen them in a long time. They showed up. Wow, dude, we barely talked to them. Look at they showed up. Whoa, look at man, look at all these people that showed up. People I haven't seen in years have showed up. Wow. You don't really think about what they're saying as much as just the fact that they're there. There's this comfort, and I'm feeling it now. I'm remembering how I felt, the comfort that I felt seeing my old neighbors show up, seeing my bosses show up, seeing my friends show up, seeing friends of my dad show up, friends of my mom, friends that didn't even know maybe my dad, but they knew my mom, or vice versa. It was just, to see people show up was enough. So don't worry so much about what you need to say. Maybe just the hug, maybe just the presence is all they need at that moment. Grief can be lonely, not because people don't care, but because they don't know how to show up. That's what I'm just finishing explaining right there. They don't know how to show up. You don't know how to show up because it's different for different families, how they celebrate, or how they grieve, or what the different, how they're feeling. You don't know. And usually how they're feeling, now that I've experienced them many times, it's just a fog. So you don't worry too much about what people are saying. You just are happy that people are present. And I was so thankful that people were there all the time, not just during the funeral, but before they'd come to, I didn't even know there was a thing like this. They'd come to your house and bring you sodas and water, hang out with you, just be with you. And then they'd come to the funeral too. And then sometimes after they would show up, and maybe that's just my family. My family's just love. I'm so lucky. It's all about love in my family. It's just always been like that. We always care for each other. We're a very close family. It's a huge family. So just super blessed. Hopefully your family's like that. Stick together. You need people in those times. Just be present. Be present. That's my point with that section right there. What grief has taught me? The importance of presence. I just talked about presence. Presence. I'll say it 1,000 times on this video. Present. Being present during those times of loss. But not only that, now it's like, dude, I should have spent more time. You always think like that. Couldn't we have spent more time with that person? Should we have been here? Should we have been there? It's almost impossible. You can't be with that person 24 hours a day, but certainly now I am very cognizant of time and the way I spend time with people, and being, the only word for it is present. Like actually being present, like not on the phone all the time, like trying to cut the phone off maybe, or just not watch it so much when I'm with the person at dinner or at a party. We're actually conversating with people instead of being on our phones. We need to work on that and get better at that, just talking to people without the phone. I mean, we're texting somebody right 5 feet away from us. That's craziness. What kind of world are we living in? It's out of control. So presence is the theme of this show. I think it's crazy. Being gentler with others, yes. Having patience, definitely not my forte. Patience, if you know me, is not my best attribute, but I try. I'm working on it. Definitely try to be patient now, try to be more gentler, more understanding, taking more time to explain things. Just all in all, trying to be much more gentler as I grow older. The gift of remembering times, because time goes by so fast, it is almost impossible. Not only because time went by so fast, but because, maybe there was some recreational. I don't want to talk about that. But here's the thing: what I try to do with this one, I can't remember everything. So the thing about the filming and content and all that, literally, it's a secret. Don't tell everybody. But I'm trying to actually record history, my history, your history, anybody that's around me, trying to get little glimpses of history. Obviously, I'm not filming everybody, but moments that I can here and there, so I can trigger memories like, oh dude, I remember that moment, I remember that moment in time, I remember when we went to that place, I remember when we had that food. So content's a great thing for that. If you are into content, or even if you're not, just record stuff, fill up your phone. I know people get pissed, oh, he's always taking pictures. Dude, fill it up, film it, because those are memories that are going to live on in your phone, in the iCloud. Those are memories. Fill up your phones, my friends. Remember, they may be gone, but their love, what they taught me, everything still shows up, hopefully, in how I live. The adventure, my Uncle John was such an adventurous person. He would climb up a mountain. Boy Scouts tell you you're supposed to take a trail and stay safe. He would go straight up, just adventure with a stick and straight up. Cactus, doesn't matter, poison ivy, straight up the mountain. Crazy adventurous. He taught me adventure. He also taught me knowledge. He read like crazy. The man knew everything. You would ask him about a pin, he would tell you how Bic designed it. He knew so much stuff, and the reason was, if you go to, I would ask him, how do you know so much? He would show me. He had this shelf. He'd always have this little shelf. It didn't have to be a big shelf. He had a little shelf of books, bunch of books on exercise, on food, on Boy Scouts, on camping, books, engineering, all kinds of books. And so now I have a garage full of books. I have my mom's garage full of books. I have books everywhere. I constantly read. I'm a reader. So that's one of the things John gave me, as well as music. We would talk about music. He knew anything I know about music, the history of music, he taught me. Anything I know, especially about funk, he taught me. Crazy stories, my Uncle Richard, all the crazy stories, all the things about the 50s, 60s, Vietnam. He was a Vietnam vet, proudly served in Vietnam, all that stuff. My friends, Dennis, Joe, Tony, Will, all godly men, taught me so much about just a moral aesthetic, and the life ways to live as a husband and a man here on earth. And the special book, Basic Information Before Leaving Earth. Figure that one out later, and if you do figure it out, put it in the comments. So they may be gone, but the things that they taught me hopefully show up in my life. Hopefully the things rubbed off on me, and hopefully I can spread some of those things onto you guys. Here's a message for those who are grieving right now. For you that are grieving right now, know this: you're not alone. It's okay to feel it all of it, the loss, the missing the person, the sadness, the crying that goes with it, the responsibilities. It's okay to feel it all, because I know there are parts where I had to hold in. I had to hold things in at certain points or I would lose it. But at some point, you got to let all that stuff out. Part of doing this video is letting my stuff out. I'm doing it right now in front of you, letting stuff out. It's okay to feel it all. And again, there is no timeline. We talked about it earlier. There is no timeline. Take your time. Whew, tough one. Grief doesn't mean you're broken. It means you loved deeply. Let me say that again. Grief doesn't mean you're broken. It means that you loved deeply. Here's my closing thoughts. This is a call to connection. If you, my friends, have someone that you recently lost, or you lost someone long ago, I'd love to hear about them in the comments. Tell me their name. Put their name in the comments, what they meant to you, number 2, and then let's help keep that memory alive. Put their name in the comments. Put what they meant to you in the comments. Let's create a wall of memory on this video below, and just keep their memory alive. Cool? Sound great? Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in, as always. Thank you for subscribing. For those of you who subscribed, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe now. Juice Gang Gang, stay thirsty, my friends, and not dangerous. Have a great one.